Sorry, I am sweating like nobody's business. Maybe it's a healthy glow, maybe it's perspiration. Hello y'all and welcome back to my channel. So today we have got a in-depth review, analysis, comparison, discussion, because shortly, very shortly, after Anastasia Beverly Hills released their Norvina Pro Pigment Palette Volume 1, they said, you know what people really need? You know what people really need? They need a Volume 2. And I was down. I was all right. I was scrolling through the Instagram and I'd see it and just... You know, we're having a heavy breathing moment there. And then even before the second one released, Anastasia said, no, you know what people really need? A Volume 3. So within, I believe, under 2 months after the first Norvina Pro Pigment palette was released, they released 2 more. Now, if y'all had seen my first review, you know that I'm a fan. I love the colors. I love the quality, the formula. I loved everything about that. I gave it my stamp of approval. And so I was very, very excited to, you know, review these 2. And I've been seeing on Twitter and on Instagram a lot of people who are all like, you know, do I really need all 3? Because these are not cheap palettes. They're $60 a piece. Now you can get Natasha Denona, you can get Huda Beauty. There's a myriad of whateverness that's in the $60 price range. You do get 25 shades. You get a lot of colors, a lot of eyeshadow. In my opinion, a lot of bing bang for your buck. The packaging also speaks to me on so many like fantasy art deco levels. But you also have the fact that all 3 of these are limited edition. Now, it would not surprise me if these are very well received, that they would take them, Anastasia, would take these kind of the same route they did Modern Renaissance, where that was limited edition and everyone was losing their minds. People were selling it for $150 on Poshmark. And then Anastasia was like, you know what? Okay, fine. We will make it permanent for y'all. Now, I have a certain amount of what about colorful palettes always being the limited edition ones. Because your girl is a color lover. I love color. Love color. So as I stated, these are limited edition. I honestly think that is one of the stupidest things because in my opinion, in my humble opinion, allegedly, these are really beautifully curated palettes. All 3 of them. This one here is the number 2 going on here. This is gonna be, you're more like cool tones. It's got the greens and the blues. We've got more purple going on in there, some yellow. Seeing pictures of this online, it had your girl feeling all sorts of ways. So this is number 2. And then they were like number 3. Number 3, looking like this deliciousness right here. This is what I have on my eyes today. I mean, it's very simple. I started off with C3, then went into D1. I used a mixture of D2 and D5 all up going on here, and then I used C1 as my inner corner highlight. I also went with a little bit of A4 under here. I am going to insert a video of me swatching these for you all because there is just so much. That's 50 shades of eyeshadow to swatch in one video, and if I were here to do it all by myself, we'd be here forever. So I'm going to insert said video right here, and then we will be back and discuss kind of the whole whateverness. Do you need all 3? Is there enough differentiation between the 3 for you to merit purchasing all of them? Because that's like what, $300? That is a lot of dough. So watch the clip, check out the swatches, then we'll recon back here for a bit more discussion. Obviously, most of the swatches were really pretty ding dang good. Some of them, I will say, kind of in the same way that the first palette was. There are a couple of the matte shades that swatched in an inferior way compared to how they actually performed and applied onto eyeballs. But all in all, going from just a quality standpoint on these, I absolutely love them. I think the formula on these mattes are honestly one of the best I have ever tried, especially for bright colors. Because as any color lover will tell you, you need a good formula, because coming on, the pinks and the purples and the greens and the blues, if you don't have a good formula, that can go real bad real quick. And these are just a beautifully pigmented, smooth, buttery, blendable. Some of these shades, these bright, vivid colors that can have a tendency to sort of stick in one place and not want to go anywhere. But these like bright greens and the yellows and the reds, they're so blendable, and they blend like really well. Oftentimes a lot of brighter colored palettes, like say the Colored Rain Vivid Pigments palette, Jeffree Star Jawbreaker, a lot of those like super bright saturated ones, they aren't necessarily what most people would consider beginner friendly. Because if you have a shadow that needs a little bit extra TLC, someone who hasn't had a lot of experience with finessing those edges might run into a little bit of a problem. But I would say these shades they just work so well. From a quality standpoint, I cannot recommend these enough. If you love color, if you want to get into color, if you just want some really banging eyeshadow to play with, these are phenomenal. I would recommend these in the price tag point of view. I would recommend them more than Huda Beauty, more than Natasha Denona. These are just so wonderful. All right, now let's get into kind of like the whole, people were kind of like, well, there are some repeats. So if I like went out and got the 1, do I really need to go out and get the 2 and the 3? I got all 3 because I have problems and I love eyeshadow. So this is the first one. She's very pinky, purpley. I feel like a lot of people think that this one was maybe the most disjointed, although there are like a crap ton of those vivid, bright colors. I find that it still works and plays really well together. Now that being said, as we then open number 2, and you're like, okay, we got the pinks here that we had in the first one. We've got another black. Don't get me wrong, that black that's a good pigmented black. But once again, if you have the first one, do you need the second one? So here we have it here. Obviously you can see some correlations with the yellows, with the pinks. Now what Anastasia did was a wee bit clever, is you do have similar colors like the D3 pink over here and then the A5 right here. They're really similar, but they made them just tonally a little bit different. They're both very, very like hot, intense pinks, but I feel like this one skews just a bit more red than this one. So you're getting a similar color, but you can't say, oh, it's the same. You have a pink shimmer in both of these, the B3 over here and then the A1 right here. This one has kind of pinky purpley reflex going through it, and this one is just more of a straight up pink. Then leading into probably my favorite one, the number 3, because apparently this is their version of a fall palette, and let me tell you, I am living for every single aspect of this palette. But if you once again go into the 2, you can see that there are similar colors within the yellows and the greens. So I feel like, once again, obviously there are only so many colors we can have, unless we invent a new color. There are only so many color combinations that can exist. And in this sense, they did sort of kind of, once again, there's similarities in the tones, but they are just a hair different. Like the A4 right here is just a bit different said, the A3 over here, the B3 and the, once again, B3 and A4, also similar. Then the E1 with the E1, you know, they're similar. They go fantastic with my sweater. But honestly, what I feel like Anastasia did, which is clever, maybe not, well, in marketing, it's, there are no morals in marketing, is that they made them similar slash just different enough to where you could have one of them and be completely happy. I feel like with these, the quality is fantastic all across the board. Look at them, dissect them, pick the one that really calls to you and go for that one. You don't necessarily need all three to be complete. But that being said, they work so well together. And I honestly believe that's something that Anastasia did on purpose, because it takes these three separate palettes and you put them together and they create this like ultimate collection of bright colors. And not just bright colors. They've also got, I would say, if I were to recommend any of them, if I were to say, yes, this is the one that has the gold stamp of approval, it would be the number 3. Because I feel like the number 3 is, just from looking at it, the most cohesive. All of these tones are just rich and in depth, and they play so well with each other. And not only that, I think it is a little less intimidating than the others, because a lot of these like deeper rich tones, like these reds and the oranges and some of the brown orange toned browns, you can still be used and skewed as neutral and then add a pop of color rather than going a la me and just being like color full on. So I feel like, just like from a practical point of view, this one is probably going to be the most popular, if I am correct. If my predictions are correct, highly recommend this one. Honestly, highly recommend them all. But these palettes, all 3 of them, I have not had a single problem with any of the shades I use, though I will say a little bit of a caveat with some of the shimmers. Some of the shimmers, especially these ones that have like kind of that like foily whatever reflect, rather than this one that's just kind of like a straight up normal shimmer, you are going to want to treat more like a, it's not a pressed glitter, thank God for that, but to get that full boom cha 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 in your face, you are going to want to lay down a tacky primer or a glitter glue or some concealer. I feel like a lot of these shimmers, let me get the other palette, not so much in this one, but like this one and this one, these ones are going to be, they're like a shimmer that's created specifically for like doing a cut crease look where you want that whoosh, but you gotta like have something down to really get that. So do obviously keep that in mind with working with the shimmers. But in all of these, the matte to shimmer ratio makes my little heart go pity pat, because they skew much more matte. So there is honestly, other than them being released like back to back to back, there's nothing bad that I want to say about these. Yes, they're pricey. Yes, they were released way too soon after each other. Yes, they're limited edition, which is completely stupid, because Anastasia Beverly Hills, I feel, is a great brand that would benefit from having palettes like these permanent. It brings something to the market that I feel in these big, beautiful, giant artistry palettes that perform so well, that so many people would actually love to have, and that I would return to and repurchase, because I'm a color lover and these are fantastic. This has definitely become a product that if they continue to release more of them, I will continue to buy them. I will continue to review them. And as for these, just, you don't need them all. I absolutely love them all. Like I said, I opened all 3 of them. These are what I've been using since I had them. All other palettes in my collection have been long forgotten, because I opened these up and I'm filled with so much inspiration and so much just like, I mean, they bring me, in the words of Marie Kondo, they bring me joy. And they really kind of just take me back to how I used to do my makeup, and I would just do whatever the frig I wanted, whether it was a satin, a matte, or a shimmer, or a glitter. And so, like I said, I highly recommend all of these. I would say if you're on a budget, if you're not 100% drawn to all of them, don't get all of them. Just pick the one that you're like, yes, I would use those colors so much. Whereas me is like, yeah, take the rainbow, slap it on my face, and call it a day. Quality-wise, absolutely fantastic. Anastasia, you need to chill. If you release another one of these before the year ends, I will buy it, but I'ma complain. Okay, so that is my review on those. I hope you I know it was a little bit different than the typical reviews that I do, but a lot of y'all have been asking and been like, do I need them all? Do I need just one? What do I do? Because it is a lot all at once, and at that higher price point, when you're dealing with brighter colors, it's there's a lot to consider. But I would say I would recommend any of them. The quality is beautiful across the board. I just love them. I really do. But obviously, let me know what y'all think about them. I know one of my lovely subscribers, I'm terrible with names, I know exactly what your icon is. But where she lives, the one of them is like $112 each. I'm like, that's crazy. That is crazy. But obviously, let me know what you think about them. I mean, obviously, they've been released way too soon together, in my opinion. But I'm absolutely not upset by the quality or the colors. Like I keep saying, I do absolutely love these. But thank you guys so much for watching. I love you. And as always, keep it real. Mwah!